Next match review comes to us from a returning match review homie, this being Myouzik, who has 93.4 hours, so not even at that 100-hour mark yet. And this is the Pinhead that we said was actually pretty good for somebody who doesn't even have 100 hours yet, in terms of like their chain shots and that sort of thing. You are playing Pinhead, which is, like I said, a very, very good character, low A, high B. What I'm looking to see from you that I remember saying last time was your chains were pretty good, but you really didn't do much with box logic, which is kind of like the big macro pressure part of this character. So I'd like to see you do more with that. You're on Grim Pantry, which is a very survivor-sided map. Grim Pantry is a fairly large map, and the main building is very nasty with tons of really good windows and safe pallets. So that's definitely not in your favor. Let's take a look at your add-ons here first. Okay, so first thing I want to say, and I don't mean this to be super confrontational, but I do remember last time saying you were crutching on Engineer's Fang a lot, and it was actively hurting your growth on this character. And I do know you watched that match review because you corrected me on the pronunciation of your name, which you could only do if you saw me mispronounce your name in the first one. And you chose that to say, I know better, I'm going to put NG Fang on again. Anyways, I would still like to see you take this add-on off, because you are essentially learning a very, very specific different playstyle that honestly is a little bit more difficult because you get that first injury very quickly, but the second down is way harder because you don't have as many chains to restrain the survivor. So I requested you take this off. For some reason, you ignored me on that. I really prefer if you do not do that in the again zone, because I'm not in the business of wasting my time personally. So original pain is all right. Obviously that applies deep wounds, which gets rid of any sort of endurance behind it. There's a lot of really, really great add-ons on Pinhead. You're kind of like, what is your oyster? You can do the remains, the heart, you do the lens, the impaling wire, although impaling wire Reaper is specifically recommended not for learning the character because it's another add-on you can get very comfy with. It doesn't give you a good accurate experience on how the character actually plays. In terms of your build, with only 100 hours, you probably don't have access to a lot of perks. The only one here I would not recommend would be Hysteria, but I don't know what else you have, so I can't really ding you on that. We're playing a normal field of view. That's interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay. Need to turn the volume way low. Your mic is extremely loud compared to your game, especially when you breathe out. So this is going to make it really hard to, I don't know where to put the volume. And somebody early might be weird. Sorry if this is extremely quiet, but I like that play. It's interesting. They have lethal, yeah, because that is a nemesis teachable, yeah. Yeah, lethal could be good here. Lethal in tandem with another info perk, that'd be pretty nice. That's a good catch. I didn't notice that, guys. Good catch. Didn't even think about that. Okay. That's I would not vault that here. When a loop's super long like that, like, you gotta just follow him down. I'm gonna try to turn this up a little. See, like, this is why I wanted you to take NG Fang off, because you're just kind of like really, really going hard for that first hit because you want that free injury, but now you're like kind of throwing for it. Like, it's a completely different play style that's not conducive to learning the character. Yeah, now you're losing gens. Because you're really, really wanting that first hit. Realistically, you play Pinhead more like a clown that has macro pressure, where you use the chains to slow people down, the purple bottles, and hit them, and then you use the box logic to slow the game on a macro level. You don't play them like a ranged projectile killer, like you're trying to. Because what happens is, you're probably gonna find out, is that like even if you hit your shots, that second down is going to be way more difficult because you don't have as many chains to restrain the survivor. And you're also going to be tremendously greedy trying to go for these free injuries that NG Fang gives you. You only have one hook at 4 gens, so the fact that you're like plugging this early is very dangerous. Look at that Lava's going. How's your Monday, friend? Yeah, that happens. It's unfortunate. That's just a Pinhead problem in general. Luckily, nobody's found the box, so you do have a chain hunt. Okay. I think it's really unfortunate that we can't have the volume louder.
You summoned me.
Oh, I just left that dude on the ground.
I came.
Yeah, you definitely should have hooked him. But at least you recognize that that's the thing. Yeah, see. I'm good, awesome. But I'm alright, I'm living. I've had a long day today, and I still have a long day after this. I gotta do YouTube editing for this as well. I had to do boring like license renewal stuff today. And Liz had to do stuff with it too, so it was just like a dumb whammy. I'm gonna be up all night too. I do like they do that. They use the gateway to check on things. That's smart. A lot of people don't do that till later. In the Pinhead career. That's rough. It's okay. Boring adult stuff be boring. You know. I have a very typical schedule and I'm aware of it. Can't expect the world to bend to my knee, you know. That would be irrational. Yeah, so you're greeting injuries so much with NG Fang. I think you should just take it off because it's like it's big. It's very clearly a crutch for you, and you rely on it way too much. I don't know if you watch Field Agent Reaper, probably the best Pinhead main in the community, but I would. And specifically, if you ever run into him on a stream, ask him how he feels about NG Fang. Because if you're not going to listen to me, listen to him. Because the way he describes it, that I obviously can't get verbatim, is exactly this. You start greeting injuries all the time, and then you have a really bad second chase for the second injury state because you don't have enough chains. So it's not something for starting Pinheads. Yep, Reaper is to Pinhead what I am to Xenomorph. Definitely the man for knowledge about all that stuff. We should be streaming tonight. Raheem! Hi! You up to no good still? You so.
You summoned me.
I came. Hey, no, not on Mom's computer. Like I asked. Just like I suspected, you were up to no good, sir. Space Kitty tonight? We played for 4 hours before we did Match Reviews now, Bob. We did quite a lot of Xenomorph. We did some B-roll footage for a video that I'm going to be editing to go on after stream. And then we did our dailies, and then we just played Xenomorph for like an hour or two before match reviews. It's okay. We'll be back tomorrow. More Xeno fun. I've been playing more variety killer. I think it just takes the edge off of like having super high MMR and Xenomorph and getting really intense games all the time.
Dude, my hooks are not landing today.
Yeah, well, like here's the fun thing is if you had spent more time outside of NG Fang, you know, you would have to feel the impact of your misses way more, which you should. You should feel the impact of your misses way more. But that blow is lessened because you're just trading it for free injury instead of actually having to play off of the restrained survivor. The next day, not actually Thursday, and then the next day, and then not Friday because Friday is survivor night, open lobby. Luckily, your plaything is really helping you.
Bro.
You're still also completely ignoring the box side of this character's kit, which is also something that I told you should probably work on. I'm still saying you not do it. So it's interesting that you did see my first match review and you have not incorporated any of the takeaways. Like you said, I know better about NG Fang and I also know better about box logic, which is unfortunate. Thank you for whoever is currently snoozing the ads. I appreciate you. I'll try to run that in between these next two games. I thought we started Shroom earlier, but potential play afterwards. Depends. I have a lot of YouTube stuff to do too. Yeah, that's my favorite combo, triple. That's my favorite combo because that helps you snipe people working on the box, which is super fun, super great. You can't make him drink. I love the peepaw emote. It's not the first time it's happened, but I always find it really puzzling when people submit a match review and I give them takeaways and they ignore them. Like you submitted the match review to get my advice and I give you advice and you did not take it into account. And I just wonder like why then? You know, I don't mean that any like negative or confrontational way. I'm just genuinely curious. Like, what was the point?
So bad. This is so bad. I hate this map.
Yeah, Grim Pantry is pretty awful. Any like two-story map can be kind of challenging for Pinhead Chain, especially if you're newer, because like obviously the gateway just kind of like freaks out between floors a lot. Even Reaper has problems with that still, and he's probably the best Pinhead, period. So that's not you. That's just the character.
I came.
I think it just kind of like fundamentally changes your own playstyle, because like realistically the right play there was to like tailgate him a little bit, summon a gateway, tether him with the chains, and then go for the M1. But because you have NG Fang, you're like trying to use it as like hundreds with extra steps. And you're like missing all these shots long range because you're trying to use it as a projectile instead of what the power's meant to do. If you teleport your box, if they were actively like trying to go find the box, it would be in such a better spot. But instead, they're only like teleporting to it instead, which obviously that does not proc a chain hunt. Like the slowdown and chase is nice by tethering them with the chains, but realistically, like most of this character's power is in the chain hunt itself. Like you're kind of just like a diet clown by only using that aspect, which is still nice, still makes you very efficient in chase. But like the real strength of this character comes in the chain hunt, the macro pressure. it's a very hard to manage power for the survivors, because if they're not in comms with each other, it's really hard to like rotate and juggle the box. But like that aspect doesn't come into play in your matches because you don't even attempt. And that's like his strongest aspect. For reference, I will say it again. 40 meters around you, it cannot spawn. And 60 meters around the survivors, it cannot spawn. Search the negative spaces between to try and find the box. And obviously try to interrupt the person working on the box. Hey, Erebus, how's it going? How are you, friend? Sorry if I'm kind of like partially leaned out of frame. I'm keeping an eye on the boy because he's been getting into everything he shouldn't today. Are we doing well? I am. I've had a long day and it's going to continue to stay long, but I'm spending it with people. No. See? I was just saying. No. No, no, meow. You know you shouldn't be up there. Won't even attempt it. No, don't be sweet to me. You're still not allowed up there. I'm gonna give you my phone number and you can call me when I care. I don't care. There's no universe where you're allowed up there. Far away the gens. Yeah, you shouldn't be teleporting to every single box solve. Like, it is a good map traversal tool if you need to be over there, but like if you don't need to be where that is, it's where the survivor's not injured, there's really not a reason to do it. Just stay where you are and keep with what you're doing. There's also no reason to go for, like, obviously you have NG Fang, so the first chain is an injury, but any sort of restraining chain, you don't want to do that far away because they're just going to break out of it, especially with NG Fang by the time you get there. Like, there's literally no purpose to doing this because they're just going to break out by the time you get there. You make no distance. But once again, as chat will probably point out here in a second, because they've been very astute in these observations, you're probably just trying to apply deep wounds and overestimating add-on value over just playing the character. Good job checking that. That is good that you do that. That's a very, very good skill. I'm glad you already do that. That's something that even like people who get better at this character don't often do. Return, welcome back, Calamity. Shot with Impaling Wire, slightly better, but still not ideal. My match reuse going mostly okay. Mostly okay. I keep being interrupted by a certain quadruped in this room who keeps getting in the trash, getting up on the desk. Who could that be? Who could that be, brother? Have any idea? Do it! Yeah, let's go! Oh my gosh, you didn't get it. Do that more. I am so proud of you, unironically. I'm not being facetious. Do that more. That's exactly what we were talking about. Try to interrupt the box solve. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Do that way more often. Do that way, way more often. You will see so much improvement.
Oh, I do not have...
It's right there. There you go. Very good. Would you start doing that more? You're gonna see a lot more value out of this character. A lot more. Yeah, a lot of people did class. A lot of people. Sorry for smacking the mic.
I just really hate that map.
All right. So in terms of your main takeaways, once again, like I said, this is usually the rule. This is not something I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset with you, but this is a rule that I always do whenever this happens. I do not want to see another match review with you using NG Fang. I do not. I asked you to take it off because I think it's serving as a crutch and hurting your gameplay, and for some reason you're like, I know better. It's still serving as a crutch and hurting your gameplay. you're actively missing tons and tons of shots because you want that free injury, and your chases are suffering on the second injury to down because you only have 2 chains and you're still literally using your chains and trying to hit super far away as if Edgy Thing has a second injury state. It's like pervasively affecting the way that you use the chain, that you use your gateways, and it's harming you. It's not helping you. So please try to play without it, because the way you're learning this character, you're not learning Pinhead, you're learning Edgy Thing. And I would argue you're not even getting the most out of Edgy Thing the way you're playing it. So like you're playing to an add-on and not the character, and it's harming your growth. I think once again, this is something that I had on the last takeaway, last main takeaways as well, is you got to start learning box logic. You're not going to get it right away. That's totally fine, but you're like not even attempting. Once again, box, when it spawns, cannot spawn 40 meters around Pinhead, and it cannot spawn 60 meters around each survivor. Search the negative spaces in between in order to try and find the box. Try to interrupt survivors getting on the box in order to try and steal the box from them and cause the chain hunt. The fact that you're just kind of omitting probably the strongest part of your character's power is really detrimental. And once again, kind of serves more, credence to my point earlier. Is it seems like you're learning the add-ons and getting addicted to the add-ons and not Pinhead himself, which is not very beneficial. So please, if I get another match review and you're not doing these things, because I don't watch them, but I do take a peek at them before we get them. If I get another match review and you're not doing these things, I'm not going to review it. And that's not me being mad at you. That's just like this is me like, hey, these are very, very important things for you to get better and to improve. And literally what I said the first time did not stick. So I got to make it stick somehow. So if I get another match review and these things are still happening, I'm just not gonna review it. So, third, which is kind of just like a, in general, is like you really like just like kind of like split pressuring a lot, which is fine because you have like sloppy, but like there's plenty of situations that you were like globetrotting cross map just to get an injury when you had plenty of people close to it down, or like actively trying to do the gens. You should definitely try to go after people that are either easy downs or actively working on generators instead of just kind of like upholding injuries on everybody as a priority. So, yeah.